Welcome to Football Scientific. I'm Aaron Sauter. I'm writing for FootballAnalysisOne.com and CFLNewsHub.com. Here on Football Scientific, we cover all football other than college football, which we'll have a separate college football episode today as we continue going over our power rankings for each conference in FBS football. But today, me and Tyler Tiger here, fired up, ready to go. Going to go over the weekend of football. Yeah, we're ready to go over the weekend of football. We're going to go through and review the weekend of football and have a great time. Great time. Here we go. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, here we go. So first, boom. In the NFL, Atlanta Falcons have signed former Colts free agent safety Ronnie Harrison. Okay. The LA Chargers, left tackle Rashawn. His name escapes me now. But he came out, he blew his knee out during the week. And I wrote it real messy. I don't know why I did that. Okay, so then they had a season-ending injury list. And then they signed offensive tackle David Sharp to replace him. Minnesota Vikings, wide receiver Rondale Moore. A pretty significant left knee injury. Someone said I should edit the videos. I don't edit the videos. This is all live. We are not making AI slop. We are making human slop. Okay, all right. So live with that if you want to. Tennessee Titans running back Tyjae Spears apparently had a little leg injury. Later came back. He had a high ankle sprain for the Tennessee Titans. LA Rams quarterback Matt Stafford. Okay, he has a lot of back pain. He got an epidural. He's being back on practice on Monday. They said. Green Bay Packers wide receiver Jaden Reed. He's ready for week 1 of the season. He's day-to-day. They think he's going to be okay. He's been suffering from a lot of leg injuries. Like everyone has in NFL in training camp so far. Houston Texans safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson has a knee injury. Safety Jimmy Ward has legal issues. So the Houston Texans signed veteran free agent safety Jalen Mills to try and make up for that. They still have other safeties on the roster, though. Kansas City Chiefs safety Deion Brown tore his left Achilles. Andy Reid announced that. Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson is still dealing with a hamstring injury. He seems like he's always dealing with a hamstring injury. Maybe he's still looking at his training program. Green Bay Packers, Jalen Reed has a walking boot. He's a slot receiver. They think he'll be back, but he's in a walking boot right now. San Francisco 49ers, because of the running back issue they've had, they have re-signed running back Jeff Wilson. Okay, so that's a lot of moves. And then Detroit Lions, they had a bunch of issues after their second preseason game. They have placed offensive line Justin Herron, offensive line Colby Sorsdahl, and tight end Kenny Yeboah on the IR list. Okay, and they signed defensive line Gunnar Britton, offensive lineman Keaton Sutherland, and tight end Gunnar Oates, and running back Deion Jackson in an effort to replace those guys and get the roster built back up before cuts. Those guys are probably done for the year. Okay, a lot of injuries in training camp this year. I think it's because of the way they train themselves, guys. New York Jets, they activated edge rusher Jermaine Johnson after he was off the active and PUP list. So he's better now, whatever he was dealing with. Washington Commanders signed former Dolphins linebacker Duke Riley. I can wear my Commanders hat today. I'll be using the Commanders in what's called the NFL Challenge League, and I'll be using a lot of their players in fantasy football. So that's pretty cool. So I get to wear the Commanders hat now. All right, New England Patriots, they signed Memphis Showboats running back Deneric Price. Detroit Lions signed DC Defenders running back Deion Jackson, as mentioned earlier, but he played for DC Defenders. And Memphis Showboats signed wide receiver Dwayne Brown, who was a star in AF1 with Albany Fibers, looking to move up to the UFL and then maybe move on to the NFL. And the CFL, there were a few signings yesterday. Ottawa Red Blacks added to the practice roster national defensive back King Ambers, and they moved to the same injury list American defensive back Bennett Williams. BC Lions signed American offensive line Josh Castro. Okay. We had 2 CFL games last night. I lost all these bets, man. I lost all these predictions, which is rare. It's rare, but it did happen. Got swept. Okay, Ottawa Red Blacks played the Toronto Argonauts in Toronto. Drew Brown with the Red Blacks threw for 373 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's a great game by Drew Brown. They ran for 94 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. They had 1 fumble. Dustin Grum had the 1 touchdown. No sacks. Toronto Argonauts on offense. Nick Arbuckle had 317 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, interception, and 49 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. Nick Arbuckle had the 1 rushing touchdown and 2 sacks. Pretty much Ottawa dominated that game, and they only won 46-42. Crazy game, and they did pull it off, so they're 3-6 now. Toronto's 2-7. Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they traveled to Calgary. I thought they were going to get this one. I really thought they were going to get this one. But spoiler alert, they didn't. Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Zach Collaros came back and threw for 216 passing yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, so better with the interceptions. They did run the ball for 101 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 fumbles. A lot of that was Brady Olivera, but the 1 touchdown was Chris Strebler, quarterback. And then they had a 1 sack defensively. Calgary Stampeders, they were down early big, but they rushed back, 300 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Vernon Adams Jr.'s back, 113 rushing yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's a clean game by Calgary, 4 sacks. And that comes out to be a Calgary Stampeders 28-27 victory over Winnipeg, sweeping the Blue Bombers 3 in a row. They're 6-3. Blue Bombers are 4-4. Okay, so those outcomes greatly change our CFL Power Rankings. So here's our CFL Power Rankings. Number 1, Saskatchewan Roughriders. They're 7-1. Number 2, Calgary Stampeders. They're back up to number 2. They've been falling for the last couple weeks. Vernon Adams Jr. comes back, and they've come back up. They're number 2 at 6-3. Number 3, Hamilton Tiger Cats. They are 6-3 after losing this week, but Montreal also lost, so they really didn't lose any ground. They didn't make up any ground though, but they're right where they would be. Number 4, Montreal Alouettes losing to Edmonton Elks. Even though they dominated the game, really, they just let it go at the end by 1 point. Montreal's 5-4. I got number 4, number 2 in the East. Number 5, Winnipeg Blue Bombers appear to be crashing, but they're 4-4. They're not totally crashed out because they're still in front of BC Lions, who would be a crossover team right now. BC Lions, we're halfway through the season, so there's still a ways to go. But they're 4-5 if they beat Hamilton. That's a huge win for BC. Number 7, Iowa Red Blacks, big win over Toronto. They're 3-6, but BC would get their playoff spot right now. Number 8, Edmonton Elks are 2-6. They beat Montreal. They're still in the basement though. And then number 9, Toronto Argonauts, 2-7. They're just not feeling it this year. Okay. In the IFL, remember on Friday we had the Vegas Nighthawks and San Diego Strike Force. Nighthawks win the game 74-68. I mentioned the stats were not available, but they're available now. So Vegas Nighthawks had 215 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. It's a real clean game. 74 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 fumble. 1 fumble, that's a turnover. They had 1 quarterback sack. San Diego Strike Force came out. Nate Davis threw for 243 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's a huge game. 89 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 fumbles. Really, San Diego Strike Force did everything they needed to win this game other than win this game. They could not stop the Vegas Nighthawks. That's why they lost this game. Vegas Nighthawks, after a crazy set of outcomes and overtime, win 74-68. They're in the IFL National Championship Game. In the Eastern Conference Championship Game, equally crazy. Green Bay Blizzard and Quad City Steamers went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Green Bay got up a big lead at the end, but they blew the lead, and then they had to hang on to it. Well, they almost blew the lead. It was 69-64, and then they got Quad City had a holding call in the end zone, and it being a safety, and they allowed Green Bay to kill the game, man. They killed the clock, and they win 71-64, and they're going to the IFL National Championship Game to play Vegas Nighthawks. So that game will be in Tucson this Saturday, August 23rd at 10:30 p.m. Eastern on the IFL Network. You have to buy the playoff pass, which I did for $9.99. Vegas Nighthawks at Green Bay Blizzard. Let's go. I'm not sure who I think is going to win that game yet. You know, it's a tough matchup. Both 10-6 are in the season. This might be the East's best opportunity to win a IFL National Championship Game. The West tends to dominate this situation. Okay, boom. In the ELF, a lot of ELF action this week. Helvetic Mercenaries came in 0-10. They traveled to Paris. Doesn't look good. They threw for 29 passing yards and 3 interceptions. Ouch, no touchdowns. 18 rushing yards, no touchdowns, 1 sack. Paris crushed them. 144 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, 264 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 sacks. They crushed Helvetic 77-0. Paris 7-4, one step closer to a playoff spot. Not quite in the playoff spot because the teams that needed to lose did not lose. Okay, but Helvetic is done. They got one more game. Number 2, Rokola Panthers traveled to Vienna. Vienna, as I mentioned, they had already clinched a playoff spot. Rokola was fighting for a playoff spot, but Vienna did not care. Rokola came out and threw for 295 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's a killer. 187 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, but they could overturn the 2 interceptions most likely. Vienna Vikings, 326 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 160 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 sacks. The 2 interceptions ended up being the difference in this game, and Vienna wins 50-36 to really secure probably a bye week, honestly. Game number 3, Stuttgart Surge travel to Cologne Centurions. If Stuttgart wins this game in Cologne, which is almost a gimme, they would clinch the division. Stuttgart Surge passed for 220 passing yards with Riley Hennessy, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 239 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, 10 sacks. You can guess who won this game already. Cologne Centurions, 104 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 14 rushing yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 sack. They gave up 10 sacks to Stuttgart Surge, and they lose 44-3. Stuttgart clinches the division and a playoff spot. Number 4, Berlin Thunder traveled to Farivar and Throners. Berlin's only beaten the bad team so far this year. Farivar's the best of the bad teams. Berlin went to Farivar. They threw for 127 passing yards, which was the worst passing game of the year. 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's a real ugly. 282 rushing yards, though, 4 touchdowns. When did they become a power football team? I don't know, but I'm thinking it wasn't the right call. Spoiler alert. They had 2 sacks. Farivar and Throners passed for 246 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 130 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 sack. The numbers say Berlin should have won, but Berlin lost. Farivar won this game, got the first win of the season, 34-31. They've been almost winning each week, kind of like the Edmonton Elks, but they beat Berlin this time, 34-31. Okay, the 5th game of the Elf weekend, we had Hamburg Sea Devils. Traveling to Nordic Storm. Nordic Storm trying to get back on track after getting upset by Frankfurt Galaxy 2 weeks ago. Hamburg Sea Devils with a new quarterback, yet another new quarterback, threw for 150 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Ouch. The Aiken guy, Carlton Aiken, not great. 58 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 sacks for Hamburg. Nordic Storm, 316 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 132 rushing yards, a domination. Nordic Storm back on track, wins 40-7 over Hamburg. They're 9-1. Hamburg's 2-9. Nordic Storm is in the playoffs, guys. They won the division already. They're probably gonna get a bye. Okay, number 6, Madrid Bravos trying to get their playoff spot. They had a chance if they won this game, they would have clinched their playoff spot. Now it sounds like a spoiler alert. They traveled to Munich Ravens, who already won the division and trying to get to a bye week. Okay, so Madrid came out one of the best offenses in the league. 270 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, not bad. 139 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 sack. Not the best game they've played, but not bad. Munich Ravens are one of the better defenses in the league. That's pretty good against one of the better defenses. Munich Ravens stood for 174 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. 184 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 sack. They did enough to win this game, not by much, but it was a closely contested game. And Munich wins at home, 30-27, filling themselves positive energy for the playoff start. Looking to make a deeper run than last year. Munich wins 30-27 over Madrid. Madrid is probably going to be a playoff team, but they're still having to do some work, man. They have not clinched a playoff spot yet. Okay, they will. They had the last week of the season. Game number 7, Frankfurt Galaxy traveled to the Prague Lions. Prague Lions fighting for the first ever playoff spot. Remember, they've only won 1 home game in their history, though. And that would stay that way. Frankfurt Galaxy threw for 334 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 140 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 sack. Prague Lions, 98 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Ouch. 214 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. They did enough to win the game, but they ended up losing 28-21. They're both 6-5, and they're both hanging on to a tiny thread of a chance for the playoffs. Frankfurt Galaxy's played their way back in to a spot. Not officially, but they're in the running. They did everything to go right for them to get in next week. Prague Lions just coming up short, man. They made a lot of progress this season, though. Number 8, Tyrol Raiders Came in 5-5. Ryan Fire came in 6-4. Ryan Fire needing to win. They got to win out to make the playoffs here. They're one of those teams that's fighting for a playoff spot. T-Roll Raiders traveled to Ryan and threw for 285 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Pretty good game. 123 rushing yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 sack. Well played, T-Roll. Ryan Fire answered back with 318 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 120 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 4 sacks. And that was enough to pick up a really important win at home. 34-24 over the T-Roll Raiders. T-Roll is done. They're out. Ryan Fire still in the running for one of those 2 playoff spots. There were 5 teams fighting for a playoff spot. So with that in mind, that changes our power rankings. And we'll look at the playoff situation. So first, number 1, I have Nordic Storm at 10-1. Number 2, I have Vienna Vikings at 10-1. Number 3, I have Munich Ravens at 10-1. Number 4, I got Stuttgart Surge at 9-2. They've all won their divisions. Okay, then fighting for playoff spots, there's 5 teams fighting for 2 spots. Number 5, Paris Musketeers would have it right now. They're 7-4. Ryan Fire would be number 6 at 7-4. Madrid Bravos would be the odd man out in my mind. That may not be the same as the ELF, but in my mind, Paris Musketeers, Ryan Fire have won their way into this point. Madrid came up short. Okay, number 8, Frankfurt Galaxy. If everyone loses, they got a chance to slide in there, but it's really, really doubtful. They're not mathematically eliminated. Number 9, Prague Lions 6-5, not mathematically eliminated, but essentially eliminated. Number 10, Wroclaw Panthers 5-6. They're still playing tough, but they're out. T-Roll Raiders 5-6. Number 11, number 12, Wroclaw Panthers. I got Wroclaw Panthers twice. Hamburg Sea Devils. Sorry, and then we got Fairbairn Throners, Helvetic Mercenaries, Cologne Centurions. Okay, so that's it. Berlin Thunder are in there. So number 12 is Berlin Thunder at 3-8, and Hamburg Sea Devils 2-9, Fairbairn Throners 1-10, Helvetic Mercenaries 0-11, and number 16 Cologne Centurions 0-11. Okay, so that is the pro football news for the weekend. I do have a Mountain West Conference video ready to go. Quick preview of that. Power rankings. So that's it for right now for pro football. So I'm about to close. Make sure you check out footballanalysis1.com for NFL news, CFLnewshub.com for CFL news, and also like the video and subscribe to the channel for more football content. Football Scientific, the portal is closed.